Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Silver. Joining us today is my good friend Florian Grummes, Managing Director of Midas Touch Consulting. Florian, how are you doing today?
Thanks for having me again, Ivan. I'm doing good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's always a great pleasure having you come on, Florian, to Wall Street Silver. And I wanted to bring you on to talk about the economic turmoil that's happening in the world. Lately, a lot of people that's been coming down to Wall Street Silver have been talking about the interest rates and how trapped the Fed are. And what do you think their next move is? Do you think they actually have the ability to lower the interest rates, or is inflation going to continue to keep rising?
Well, according to Mr. Powell, they're not going to lower interest rates anytime soon. They projected probably in May or June the
Right.
first rate cut. Now I mean, we talked about it the last time already, with the situation in the Red Sea and attacks by the Houthis. The cargo ships are having to do a much larger route now, and this obviously is inflationary in the end of the day. We will have to see if he will be able, according to the data that he's following. I mean, that's what he's always saying. He's very data sensitive, and basically they try to make decisions from one meeting to the next one. But
Right.
I think that in the end of the day, the market will decide the next move. And right now, I mean, there is a big party still going on in the AI sector. I mean, it's unbelievable. Some of the stocks are really getting like they're going vertical, basically. I think you can call it a bubble already, but who knows? I mean, it could still continue for a while. Once this thing is coming down, it could, yeah, create a crash, and then obviously he might be forced to lower interest rates rather quickly. We have to see how this all plays out. Generally, from the past, we know that they tend to uh, continue way too long with one policy until the market basically is forcing them to change.
Right.
And usually it's too late. So that's what we've seen in 2008, when they basically hiked for 2 years and then stopped hiking in the summer of 2006. And then by 2007, it started to get nasty. In 2008, we had a full crash. This time it seems to last a little bit longer. But I mean, if you look at many of the indicators and statistics and numbers, it seems already very recessionary out there. And it's just the stock market. Actually, everything is Nvidia is holding together everything still.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the AI bubble that you're looking at now is people are saying like, gold is super resilient, but silver and silver stocks and the gold stocks are not. And most of it is due to, well, I was speaking with Adrian Day, and he was saying that most of it is due to, all the money is going to the AI sector. You see like a ridiculous amount of money going to the AI sector. What is your views on the gold and silver stocks, and why is gold so resilient and silver and the others not so right now?
Yeah, I think, I mean, this is known for quite some years now that Bitcoin and also the tech and now the AI sector is basically taking a lot of liquidity that might have gone into the precious metals. But then again, I mean, most market participants always chasing trends, and the music is playing in another different sector than the precious metals sector
Right.
which is also fine. I mean, this is cyclical, this is happening, and then we have to accept it, and you don't freak out. You have to realize, like, there are sometimes situations and moments and maybe even month, maybe half a year, even a year sometimes, where maybe it's not the time to be constantly looking at the precious metals because the music is somewhere else. But you're right. I mean, gold has held up quite well, given the fact that we have a rather strong dollar, that we have higher interest rate environment, and that we have this party tech bubble going on and Bitcoin ETFs, etc. And yet, gold is holding up above $2,000. I mean, last week it quickly dipped below the $2,000 level, 1985. But here we are, eight trading sessions later, and we're touching 2040 again.
Hmm.
So the market is resilient. There is physical demand. there is central bank demand.
Yeah,
And
he was also saying, sorry to cut you off. He was also saying that there's massive central bank demand. They're buying a ridiculous amount of gold, not silver right now, but he said they're buying a ridiculous amount of gold, the central banks.
yes, and I mean, like putting it all together, we had this breakout in early December after a fierce and strong move in gold from 1810 up to $2,150. So it was a $340 move in
Right.
2 months. So that needed to be consolidated and digested. And I think what we've seen now is a digestion over time and not so much in price, since gold has held up above the $2,000 level. And yeah, maybe we've seen now this is the base camp, maybe above $2,000, and the launch pad for the next attack towards $2,100. And then, yeah, I mean, the breakout is still intact, I think.
Hmm.
And it really clears this former all-time high at 2075 and the broad resistance zone, let's say $2,100. Yeah, I mean, we could still quickly, given maybe some geopolitical turmoil on top, could quickly see a rally of $300-400 in gold still. The seasonality is still positive in spring. And again, I mean, holding up so well at these levels here, it seems that gold is sniffing out something. Maybe it's
Yeah.
also pricing in already that the Fed will have to come to rescue to the markets sooner than later. I mean, here in Germany, we have the Deutsche Pfandbriefbank, which is a rather unknown commercial bank, heavily invested in the commercial real estate in America, and they have serious troubles now that the bonds are quoted at 20 cents for the dollar, which is like a massive sell-off in
Wow.
the and it seems that this could have maybe more contagion effects, ripple down effects, who knows? So this financial crisis that we've seen in March a year ago
Yeah.
is somehow in the background continuing. And we have to see how this all plays out. And I think that this is another reason why gold is holding up rather well.
So I just wanted to let everyone know about our new sponsor, Strategic Wealth Preservation. They are an international precious metals dealer and they are a secured storage provider that have headquarters in the Cayman Islands. The company owns and operates a large Class 3 UL rated vault in the Grand Caymans, and they offer other strategic locations as part of its global storage network. They specialize in the acquisition, secure storage, and liquidation of precious metals for individuals, companies, trusts, and wealth management professionals on behalf of their clients. So if you guys want to check them out, the link is in the description below. Absolutely. And what's interesting, what you just brought up is Powell, he did say about 2 weeks ago in an interview that there's going to be banks that needed to be consolidated because, and he just said that. He said banks, there's going to be like some banks that collapse and going to need consolidating. And when you look at that, like what you just said, even across America, you have these massive banks who have billions and billions of dollars, but they're unrealized losses. So they're not actually on paper on their books for losses. But what happens, you're right, Florian, when the commercial sector, the interest rates are so high, and there's a bank term funding loan that the Fed is ending next I think it's in next month in March. So that expires. These banks can no longer, they're going to have to either prove their unrealized losses, or the Fed will have to introduce some new scheme. So what happens then, Florian? Is there just going to be this constant kicking down the can down the road, or what do you see happening?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what's going on for decades, actually, since the
Yeah.
end of standard already. And I mean, it's always surprising with what kind of new scheme they're coming up, right? Um, they broke basically every and any rule and every and any contract. So we have to assume that they will either continue, extend it, or they come up with something new. Yes. And but you're right. If this bank term funding program would end, many banks would be in severe problems rather quickly. So it's going to be interesting. And yeah, it could be that this is actually another form of new stimulus when they not only extend it, but maybe even, I mean, not only the time period extending, but maybe also the amount.
Right.
To see. I mean, I think it's been a very important program. It was so complicated that most people didn't really understand it. And of course, it didn't made it to the front page of most of the mainstream media. But that's how they managed to kick the can down the road once again, right? I mean, remember, we had a bank run 1 year ago in America.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just gonna be it's super interesting. What else do you guys I wanted to ask you this. What do you guys do at Midas Touch Consulting? Like you're the managing director, but what do you guys do there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in precious metals for now 23 years, I think,
Wow.
long ago already.
That's a long time.
My trigger run, yes. And I mean, if you study gold, of course, you study the history, you study sound money, and then it was rather obvious to also get interested in Bitcoin.
Right.
So we basically focus on precious metals, on commodities, mining stocks, of course, as well, and on digital assets and mainly Bitcoin. And so I started looking at Bitcoin 11 years ago. And that combination is, I think, rather rare in the industry. I mean, you either
Right.
find a hardcore gold bug or you find a Bitcoin maxi. And usually these two camps don't really speak with each other or don't want to understand each other. So I believe that the combination is really making sense and
I
it's
agree.
complementing each other. And yeah, I mean, we publish research on a weekly basis, gold, silver, and Bitcoin technical analysis mainly. We do consulting services and we manage money, our own money, and we have private mandates where we help people to manage their money.
And where can people reach you, Florian? What's your social medias?
MidasTouch-consulting.com is the website. We have a Telegram channel where we're also active on Twitter. But the best place to be is actually our Telegram channel. It's kind of a mastermind group with
Yeah, you were talking about that earlier. So what's the Telegram group called?
it's Midas Touch Consulting.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
it's a free speech open platform, so there's not a lot of censorship going on. Actually, only if people's posting scam
Yeah,
and
yeah.
fake. But we have investors from all over the world exchanging ideas, updating each other on with news, with ideas on the markets. Of course, the focus is on precious metals and
Right.
mining stocks, but also on crypto and Bitcoin. And it's really this kind of like I believe in the concept of swarm intelligence. So the more people basically contribute their ideas, the better we will all be. So it's a great place to be. I can only invite everybody. It's free and it's fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming down to Wall Street Silver. It's a huge pleasure, Florian. And hopefully, as the market develops, I'd really love to have you back on the show.
Thank you. Would love to.
Awesome. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Ivan.